Hi, my name is Rachel Pearson, and I'm currently a student at Southern Utah University studying nutrition. For my EDGE project, which is a project to help me apply my education to real world experiences and give me more hands on learning impossible to achieve in just the classroom setting, I went to Japan, where I learned more about the Japanese family life and human development along with their nutrition. So, this presentation has a lot of pictures, and I'm going to go through and explain what I did while I was there and some of the things that I learned. So, the first night I was there in Tokyo, I was greeted by these bright lights. Tokyo is a happening city, but so many people use public transportation instead of cars that it's actually really quiet, even though it's such a huge city. And that's something I was really surprised by. This slide has a bunch of random pictures on it, so I just want to go through and explain them because these were all new things to me when I got there. The one on the top left is a toilet, and all the buttons allow you to choose different options. You can play music, you can have it wash you off, you can have it just make water noises, you can heat the seat with it. Yeah, there's some pretty high-tech toilet seats there. And the one on the top right is just in a subway, and you can see that man is wearing a mask. And so I saw so many people wearing masks there. They're just afraid of getting sick or afraid of passing their sickness. I couldn't figure out which one it was, but they're very cleanly people and very respectful. So that was just something new to me. The picture in the middle is a crepe like display. They had crepe stands all over the place, and you'd think that's a French thing, but the Japanese have kind of reinvented it in their own way, and they're actually really good. The little sweater on the right says, "Girl, it can do if it does," and it doesn't even make sense, but that's what's funny. They love to wear shirts with American words on there or American phrases that don't really make sense because they didn't translate it correctly. So I loved seeing those. And then the bottom two pictures are just things that I saw at a market. The one on the bottom right is pickled cucumber that lasts for 90 days at room temperature. And that frightens me a little bit. On this next slide, these are some of the interesting foods that I tried while I was there. They had French bakeries everywhere, and the bakery foods were so good. And then at the top, that's sweet potato ice cream, and it was actually pretty good. My favorite meal that I tried in Japan is the middle one on the right, and it's called okonomiyaki, and it's Hiroshima style, and it's got noodles and eggs and squid and shrimp and what else? This delicious sauce. All kinds of stuff go into that. It was so good. And then in the middle, those are mini sardines, and they just like to top their food with those sometimes, and it grossed me out a little bit, I'll be honest. The bottom left one is a steamed meat bun. So there was meat inside of that, and it was really good. We went to an island called Miyajima and got those, and they were so good. The middle wrapped thing on the bottom it's like a cake, and then inside it was just a regular banana and some whipped cream. It was really interesting. And then on the bottom right corner, that is habu liquor. So they had an entire habu in that jar, and that frightened me a little bit. So they had some really good foods and some really interesting foods there in Japan. Okay, and then my favorite thing that we did there in Japan was go to this elementary school and have school lunch with the kids. I was with a group of fourth graders, and so they brought us into their classroom, and how they serve lunch is they have the kids take turns. So there were probably 5 kids, and they had the food in the classroom, and they dished everyone up, and then you just take your tray to your desk and wait until everyone is served, and then you say itadakimasu, which basically means thank you for this meal, and then everyone eats. So what they served us was plain white rice, well, sticky rice, miso soup, and then fried soybeans and bonito, which is a type of fish, and then there were some veggies on the side, including bean sprouts and spinach. And honestly, it wasn't my favorite meal, but everyone ate everything on their entire tray. No one wasted a thing, which really surprised me. But in Japan, in the elementary schools, they have about 1% food waste, which is unreal because here in the United States, it seems like it's about 70% food waste. So I think part of the reason that they don't waste food is that during the lunch, one of the kids stands up and reads to the children about what they're eating. So sometimes if they're eating something new, they'll read about where it came from or what it is exactly. And then also, as part of their curriculum, they learn how to grow a garden, which also helps kids to know what foods are, where they come from, and help them to not be afraid of eating them. Also, the two bottom pictures are pictures of the kids' shoes. So when you go into the school, you have to take your shoes off and wear these little slippers around. So they gave us some green slippers that we wore around the school. Okay, and then on this slide, we went to lunch at Mariko's house, this lady who invited Lindsay, Haley, and me to come for lunch, and she prepared us a traditional Japanese meal. There were chicken patties wrapped in seaweed, and there was like fried pork. I can't remember what it's called. There's radish sandwiches, or daikon, which is the Japanese white radish. There was tamagoyaki, which is like an egg rolled omelet. There was miso soup with eggplant and tofu, you see in the top left. There was rice with smoked salmon. She went all out. And then she even made us a cake that she made, an American cake that she rolled. In Japan, I think it's a little bit funny that they like to roll everything or fill stuff with fillings. Like every bun that you buy has a filling in it. And sushi, they love to roll. Just everything they roll. Their omelets, they roll. So it was only natural for her to roll a cake with the frosting, which I had never seen before. It was really fun to have lunch with her. We also went to a junior college where we helped some students with their English, and that was so fun. Then we went and sang karaoke with them. And then in the bottom left, that's just a picture of me and my roommate Haley. We decided to sit down on our futons one night and just have sushi that we bought at a grocery store. Turned out to be really delicious. And this picture, this is in the city of Kumamoto, and just a month before I went there, there was a huge earthquake. It lasted 8 seconds, and it caused billions of dollars worth of damage. It was devastating to the people there. These are just a couple of the pictures. They don't even do it justice. So many houses were destroyed. People were living in giant YMCA-type buildings when we were touring around. But the people there were so kind, and they taught our whole group karate. So that's the picture on the left. And they drove us around and showed us the damage done. We also went to Hiroshima, where the bomb was dropped in World War II. So this is the Peace Dome on the right, and that's still standing from the bomb. Most things have been replaced, but they decided to keep that as a memorial. And then on the left is a peace memorial, and they have thousands and thousands of paper cranes surrounding it that you can't really see in that picture. It was a very solemn place to go visit. But while we were there, we also had okonomiyaki, Hiroshima style, and that lady up on the left is making it for us. It was fun to watch her make it for us on a hibachi style grill. This is a garden we went to, and we went to so many gardens that I just had to take a fun picture. Here's another garden we went to. It's called the Adachi Garden. It was also an art museum, and the Japanese are so particular about their gardening. They're so careful, and everything looked pristine. It was amazing to see the detail there. The Japanese people are very traditional, I found. As you can see, this man on the left, he is still all, garbed up and guarding a castle. And so I had to take a picture with him. We also did taiko drumming while we were there. And that's a very traditional drumming. And it was really cool to watch some of the guys do that. They do that for some of their ceremonies. This is Tsukiji Market, the world's largest fish market, and they had all kinds of fish there. We walked through it, and just in these styrofoam crates that came in from all over the world. They sell millions of dollars worth of fish all the time. Um, and I had some freshly cooked salmon and crab. That's the little bowl on the right. It was delicious. We also had a cooking class there, and they taught us how to make some traditional Japanese food. And that was really fun. So this is a picture of Big Buddha on the left. And then there's a castle off to the right and a shrine on the right bottom. So in Japan, they have so many temples and shrines everywhere and Buddhas everywhere. But to me, it seems like they're not very religious people. They're very respectful, but these temples are always empty. No one goes there, which I find is very fascinating. So while I was there, actually the top right picture here was taken in Okinawa. I went to visit my cousins who live there after my 16-day study abroad trip. So this next slide is just a picture of the coastline in Okinawa, and it was gorgeous there. There was so much to see, and it was a very different atmosphere from Tokyo. And then while I was there, I also was able to go snorkeling and see all kinds of gorgeous fish. It was beautiful. This is another picture I took there. They had all kinds of fish, which is out of this world. This was in the East China Sea. And so overall, I had a wonderful time in Japan, and I learned so much from the people there, and I love learning about their nutrition, and hopefully I'll be able to take those ideas that I learned and apply them in my future career as a dietitian. Thank you for watching my presentation.